For August the 14th, 2015, we talk about the Steamboy N++, and we ask you if you've tried any food inspired by games. Welcome to the 116th level. My name is Cole Ross.
I'm Dennis Furia.
I'm David Maismith.
And you're listening to The Level. It's a podcast for people who love video games. Guys, we had to call an audible.
I know, it feels incomplete when there's not Ben to close us out.
I know, right? It's just David. I'm sorry, David. You're okay.
Ouch.
But, you know,
David, you are no Ben.
Yeah, and I just like in terms of the anchor, in terms of all this. So I just we're missing Ben, but we found out at game time that he is still having internet problems at his new place, and it is too late for me to feel comfortable asking Jala to step in because usually she likes to have notice and a nap. So we are rocking it 3 style now. Let us look here. What is new? Let's ramble on. Dennis, you've been involved in this, but we changed the Patreon tiers, and most notable for this show is the fact that there is now a Duckfeed.tv Slack channel.
Yeah, which is has been distracting me way more than it should over the past 2 days.
So you're not slacking on the Slack.
Yeah, he's boning up on the Slack. He's boned on the Slack. But no, we're using Slack at work now. So now every time I'm in Slack, it looks like work.
Nice.
No, I think water's going to find its level. I think that it's been since 2002 that we've really had chat rooms in our lives. Like IRC. I remember rocking the IRC channel with my Team Fortress Classic clan, the Birds of Prey. But I think that we're gonna. So here's my pro tip for this: make sure that no notifications come through.
Oh my God! Yeah, I made the mistake of leaving everything on, and that's the default. And just I turned it on. I looked away from my phone for half a second and came back and was like, I need to fix.
Yeah, so you can change that on a purchase. I think this isn't Slack pro tips. What I'm saying is, there's a way for this to fit into your life that is not completely disruptive. And we really encourage you to join us because there's a channel for each show. There is on the first day there was light, but also I added a co-op channel for organizing online play with friends. And this is a cool place for people who like the network to hang out. And it is almost guaranteed to be cool because it's behind a paywall. So no randos can jump in. So if you're a $2 up or a $2 or up backer, then you probably either already received that email or you can, back us and then you'll get that email and you can join the party.
Yeah, and the co-op channel already led to me doing some Monaco co-op with Graham, Markuson, and Jala earlier in the night. So
that's great.
It's good place to set stuff up.
Yeah, so I'm so thankful that everybody's been cool. It is something that I really want to make sure people know it's a safe place. So we will do our best to keep it that way, and I'm very happy with it. David, you should hop in there. It's a good time.
Yeah, definitely. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. So, yeah, that is just a way of talking about this super trendy messaging app, but also it feels like a double commercial, man. I feel kind of dirty about that. So does anybody have any anecdotes or anything like that they want to roll in?
No, the Monaco, I mean, this might get into what you've been playing. The Monaco co-op was supposed to be Risk of Rain co-op, but that game is Risk of Rain is systematically designed to be impossible to connect to anyone online.
Ugh.
So that's fresh in my mind.
Well, I mean, it's a roguelike. I mean, what are you, a filthy casual?
Yeah, every time you die, it changes your IP.
But more on that later.
I've lost 10 pounds.
Holy nice.
I know, right? That exercise bike. I've done 180 miles according to its odometer.
Nice.
I know. So yeah, I just post it up in front of the TV and I just crank it out. People who follow me on Twitter are really annoyed when I share my little heart rate things.
I'm not. No, that's...
Wait. how's this work? It like tweets your heart rate?
No, I've got a dingus on my wrist that
Every time it beats.
Yes, they call it tweet beats. No, I've got a dingus on my wrist. It's a Fitbit that measures your heart rate, and so I hit a target heart rate and I keep it there and I play games and yeah, I try and do about somewhere between 4 and 5 hours of that a week.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's cool.
I really feel like a heart rate monitor should be a peripheral for the next Sniper Elite game.
I mean, that was almost a thing with the the Wii Vitality sensor, which I was excited about. It was supposed to be like one of the ones you get in the hospital where it clips over the end of your finger. But the idea was it was supposed to sense your heart rate and it would affect gameplay, which I was excited about the implications of that for horror games. But
yeah, and I feel like
chair. The chair with what is that? John McEnroe, the angry tennis player, as the host.
Oh yeah, that was like, didn't that get canceled because too many people almost died?
Oh, I don't know.
Wait, what?
Now you have.
Was this an electric chair?
No, it was like I think I might be thinking of the chamber, which was a room that inflicted pain on you, and the longer you stayed in, the more money you got.
But yeah, that I only watched a couple episodes, but same concept, just not very Nintendo-ified.
Yeah. Oh well. I think that's enough banter at the beginning. Banter achieved.
Check it off the checklist.
Here we go. I have a strict schedule that I keep us to, with a timer and everything. And people who listened to last guys, the chili talk was controversial to say the least. So, but we were within the time. So
chili talk was hilarious. I had so much fun.
Me too.
Let's do it again. This entire episode.
Yeah. I saw somebody with some conies at work today, which didn't make any sense because it was hot dog day. The cart down at the front of the building was hot dogs today. So that was weird. Yeah, so we've got the usual show, maybe a little bit shorter by virtue of there being three of us, but yeah, it's going to be the same three beats, the brief, multiplayer, and the grind. And we're going to start with the brief, where we talk about things that are happening in the world of video games around us. Does anybody have a story they want to volunteer to go first? David, I'm going to throw you in the hot seat. I'm going to throw you in the chamber.
I'm actually still trying to find my story.
Attaboy. Okay, so Dennis, go ahead.
Pro tip, do not name your game the most incredibly generic thing ever.
we have an epic suffering coming up for a game called Legend. So, yeah. Dennis, you got a story.
I do. This is incredible, and if you listen to other shows on our network, or other show on our network, you might have heard of it before. But I thought it bore mentioning here. There is someone, looks like Gwyn is his name, Benjamin Beersley Gwyn, who has beaten Dark Souls, specifically the boss Ornstein and Smough, using only voice commands, which absolutely blows my mind. So we'll put the link to it in the show notes and everything. But basically, you know, instead of being able to just use your thumbs, he was saying, you know, forward, backward, strafe right, strafe left, and that sort of thing, to play the game. And there was about a second and a half of lag between his command and the game actually responding to it, which I can't even understand. Like, being able to anticipate and play that boss with a second and a half delay in your ability to respond is just incredible to me. And he does it. So it took him, I want to say, 111 tries.
Jesus.
To get through. And you can hear it in his voice. Like his voice is going during this fight. And at the end, he beats it and he just starts crying.
See, I feel like this would be one of those things that it would end up like Greek myth style. Like he now can no longer speak. The gods have decided that
you have done all with your voice that you possibly can.
Yes.
Yeah. And then the game crashed on him and did not save the victory, and he has lost his mind. No, that wouldn't matter because Dark Souls immediately saves everything you do, so he would be covered in that instance.
Yeah, that is a feature of Dark Souls.
Yeah. But it's kind of the, we hear a lot about speed running, and this is the crazy opposite of that, which is equally as entertaining to watch, I think.
It's like our friend Lobos, who beat Dark Souls 2 with the joke weapon, the ladle. So beating these dragons to death with a soup ladle, like I was kind of half surprised that it wasn't Lobos who did this, honestly. But there are more people than Lobos.
I actually like. It's amazing how, and it speaks really well to the game, how adaptable Dark Souls is to the way that you want to play it. Because I got a large portion of the way through the game only using items. In Dark Souls 2.
Oh yeah, by throwing items, right?
Yeah, just throwing items and different variants on that. I'm trying to remember what boss I got to. I know I got at least to what is the three person boss?
Oh, the Ruin Sentinels.
Yeah, the Ruin Sentinels. I know I got to them. I don't think I got past them. Mm-hmm. And wound up being low enough on items that I kind of lost interest. But
was this just your natural strategy, or did you just decide, I want to try and use only items?
No, it was a distinct, like, I'm going to try to only use items. Like I used, there's like an item sitting on the ground behind the cart right at the beginning, after you get out from the firekeepers or the fates or whatever those ladies are. Mm-hmm. And I punched the cart to get at the item under it, and I felt guilty about that because I didn't use completely only items. But anything that was actual combat, I was only using items, and it worked surprisingly well.
Yeah,
like you're using a lot of the same strategies that speedrunners do just to run past most stuff, and then when you have to fight the bosses, you've saved up all your items because you've run past everything.
Yeah.
To throw stuff, and then if you need the way I solved, like if I needed to farm for souls, is I'd try to get someone to jump into the game with me and kill enemies, because that would give you souls items.
I'm sure they were thrilled.
But, I kind of I was running around with my hands empty, and like waved at them and stuff, and I think if they were observant, they would kind of get what was happening, because I would still I would chip in occasionally with an item, especially during boss fights. You would see people would kind of understand what I was trying to do, and would almost like protect me or kind of play into it, which was really cool. Yeah. So, but that is no voice command game, I can assure you.
Have you played Bloodborne at all? No?
I have not. I need a PS4 for that.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was going to say, because that was my strategy on basically every boss fight in Bloodborne is, like, pelt them with flaming death.
Yeah, like in Bloodborne, especially in the early game, throwing at people are just really happy we're talking about these games outside of Bonfireside chat. No, in Bloodborne, in the early game, it's really well suited to, like, throwing item kind of stuff, even more so than Dark Souls 2. I remember I got you Dark Souls 1 for Christmas, Dennis.
You got me Dark Souls 2 for Christmas too, or was that my birthday?
I don't know that I got you Dark Souls 2.
No, you totally did.
Oh. That might have been when Kole was drinking, Dennis.
Did you steal Dark Souls 2?
No, because Dark Souls 2 released right around my birthday, I want to say.
Yeah, I may have bought you a copy of that. Possibly. I don't remember it, but that does not seem out of character for me.
You are like my soul's supplier.
But yeah, no, I got you Dark Souls 1 for Christmas, and then like a month later, we were doing like a going away party for Ben because he was getting ready to move out to Nevada, and I was watching you play. I was like, man, why aren't you running?
Oh my God, yeah.
So you were just walking around at normal speed.
I had somehow missed, yeah.
Yeah, you hadn't figured out to hold circle or B to go quick.
Yeah, that was a life-changing moment. And that was actually when I was stuck on the Ornstein and Smough fight. Yeah. And the worst part was the walking up to that fight every single time. Yeah. So
for people who are listening to this who don't know why beating Ornstein and Smough is the litmus test for this kind of challenge, and also remarkable for this, like even beyond just playing this game with voice control or a guitar controller like you would see people do, it's considered to be the toughest fight in the game because you are expected to fight two very tough enemies who cover each other really well. And when you defeat one, the other one absorbs the first one's power and becomes even harder.
Yeah. You guys could probably just, if you ever needed to cover some space, although I know you have plans if you ever needed to, but you could just go back and do Dark Souls 1 again. just same areas, just record the episode again. I think that would be worth, there'd be enough difference there to be worth listening to.
I've thought about it, especially like in hindsight, like especially like I feel like the story of Dark Souls 1 has kind of been mined a lot. Like there's not an awful lot more traction you can get off of that. But mechanically, I think going back to it would be, and I'm thinking about that now mostly because of we're doing the Scholar of the First Sin episodes for Dark Souls 2.
Okay.
Yeah, and so going back and replaying this game with everything being kind of different, just with enough time. Like I haven't touched Dark Souls 1 in like a year, which is a shame because it's one of my favorite games ever. But yeah.
So yeah, that's an interesting thing.
Of all the people on the show, Dennis, to be the last one to get a PS4, I would not have expected it to be you.
I know, man.
I'm not admonishing you. I know you're making your decision. I know that you have a family to consider. But just like asking, like, oh, Bloodborne, like, oh, you can't, like, I would totally, well, I guess I can't lend it to you because I have it electronically. Sorry, out of luck. But yeah. I'll do my story next. This isn't really much of anything, and I feel like I'm playing into their hands. But in the slow burn, let's say, of stories about the Steam machine, we've been talking about for the entire run of this show, guys.
Yeah.
There is
as we should.
I guess. I was thinking about it today with my shitty wired 360 controller on my PC. I want that controller, damn it. But they've got so there is a portable Steam machine slated to come out from a company that has no reputation and isn't really around, I guess. Smack, SMACH. I can't really find anything about them.
I've never heard of them before.
Yeah. So this was shown off at Gamescom. And that's a big video games show in Germany. And so this is a portable Steam machine. It displays in 720p, which has 4 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of internal memory, and what appears to be like the haptic touch things from the Steam controller, and face buttons from an older version of the Steam controller as well. I'm skeptical of this because I'm only seeing 3D renders of it, which is kind of a bummer. For $300, and that's the pre-order price. So you gotta buy this pig in its poke before you can get a hold of it, and it's coming out on November 10th, along with kind of all this other stuff. This seems kind of shitty, guys.
Like how so?
I don't know. It just seems like butt. Like the specs, like they don't give any kind of clock speed on it. 720p is a real bummer. Like I don't know that most like PC game text would render at that. It has like HDMI out, which seems kind of weird. Configurable tactile game pads, which sounds like a knockoff of it. I think that like if you're gonna do this, invest more money in the screen. Give it kind of a basic controller layout, like make it basically like a Vita, and don't put any more guts into it than you need to stream from a machine in your house so you can play your PC games in bed. Basically,
so this isn't actually a Steam box, it's a terminal?
No. What I'm suggesting is a terminal. Like this is meant to be a thing that that will run, Steam machine compatible games or Steam OS compatible games on just this really limited, basically a thing that appears to be less powerful than the HP Stream Mini that I just run Skype on.
It seems like a really good idea on paper. It is I didn't realize that it was just a 3D render that they were showing.
Yeah.
Like that concerns me. This feels like a lot of talk.
Yeah. And that's a trick that like Kickstarters do. Like we don't have any actual hardware to show you, but here are a bunch of 3D renders of what we hope it looks like.
Yeah. Now, if this all comes together and it works, then game over. But
I mean, game over, really? I don't know. Like
I feel like though, I guess maybe they just haven't released the specs, but I feel like if the specs suck, even if it works, it doesn't work.
I feel like the kind of games that would be well suited to this are the exact kind of games that you'd want to have access to, like you're saying, Cole, something to play it on bed. So this kind of screen and a controller configuration is very attractive for just that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'd have a hard time justify like not just getting an Acer.
An Acer,
just like a netbook. If I wanted to play like games that didn't require decent decent hardware.
Yeah. I don't like. I think just a screen, a screen with enough hardware to stream and some basic control input, like, would make it like people use their Vita. Like, people talk to us a lot about how they use their Vita to do the PS4 streaming, so they can play Bloodborne in bed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
At their Bloodborne bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn it, you beat me to it.
Oh man, I like it that we've been broadcasting together for 6 years now, something like that. And so,
at least,
yeah, something. And yeah, we've definitely found each other's rhythm. But yeah, I don't know. I think that making this a standalone thing is kind of weird. Like, I've never understood the appeal of the NVIDIA Shield or the Razer Shield or whatever that is.
To be fair, I don't think the market has either.
Yeah. Like, they're giving them away with graphics cards and shit, right?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
huh.
It's real bizarre to me. I don't know. Like looking at this just makes me wish that the Vita had a future.
Well, the Vita does have a future.
Does it?
Oh yeah, totally.
They memory hole it at E3, man. They mentioned it like once when they were talking about the world of Final Fantasy.
It's just an underground hit, man.
I suppose. Like, I like it. It's a great system. I'm super happy to have it by my bedside.
I think if I you're right. In terms of marketing dollars, I don't think they've put jack squat behind it. Or in terms of, attention at conferences, that sort of thing. Yeah, Sony really has not tried to trot this out into the mainstream. But I think it's based on the insight that the people who will want this kind of thing are gonna find it.
I suppose.
And I've slowly watched a bunch of people that I know over Twitter just kind of one by one fall to the Vita's call. And it's like, I've finally, and you're one of them. I mean, I finally bought a Vita. Okay, I finally got a Vita. That's what I did. I bought a Vita.
I wanted to, I mean, not to be a wanting a Vita hipster. I've wanted a Vita for a while before you got one. Like,
that's fair. Yeah. But I think there is, the people who would care about it know about it and will kind of come around to it. And just with that, like you said, streaming PS4 from wherever in your house without the huge TV turned on, I think that was a point where a lot of people went, okay, so this is even if it is $100 second screen, that seems pretty worth it.
$200.
$200, $100 if you go to Craigslist second screen.
Okay, yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, like they're biting Nintendo's steez in that regard. Yeah, it's I don't know. Like, I guess what I mean when I say I wish the Vita had a future, which is just that, like, I wish that kind of people who are making bigger games would put stuff out on it. Like, by which I mean, I don't think a system can survive if if it just exists to be a thing to play games that would have been on a big screen that you get for free by paying Sony a subscription. At that point, you might as well get it like at a subsidized price, and then this is subscription only hardware. Like, I want, look at last week. I want Final Fantasy 12 remake to be on this because just you can rock me to sleep.
Sure. Yeah. You definitely got to know where to look for the good games on Vita, and I don't know if you'll ever get that huge mainstream attention for it. And when you do, like, if you're lucky, you get the Killzone Mercenary, which is a passable. I was surprised by how good that game was, but otherwise, I feel like you're more likely to get big teams trying to cram too much into not being able to respect the fact that it's on a handheld and kind of butchering whatever they're working on. I'm contradicting myself because as I'm saying that, I'm thinking of like Uncharted Golden Abyss, which was also a really great game.
And like a launch title, which was weird.
Yeah. And like Gravity Rush, which was a Vita exclusive and a really good game.
Yeah.
That is, still, that is a great game.
Yeah. I guess what I'm saying is, like, people talk about the PS Vita as though it is a machine meant to play Persona 4 Golden, And like, even though that is a remake of a PS2 game, like that is more ambitious than kind of the indie stuff that gets, like the occasional indie bone that gets thrown its way. Which I love having an infinite supply of indie games to play.
Indie bones.
In a thing that indie bones. Which is Sugar Bones' cousin from Indiana. No, but I just don't know if it can survive on that.
Yeah, I think, if you, especially I feel like some of that becomes especially apparent in comparison to the 3DS or however many DSs they're up to now.
4. This is the 4.
Yeah. It now controls time. No, but just in terms of like the reason I haven't bought a Wii U yet is because I can't decide if I want a Wii U or a 3DS.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's much more not a standalone system, kind of.
Yeah.
It's I feel like I don't know. The Vita just me seems like a PlayStation peripheral, kind of. Like not to be like critical of it, but that just seems like almost the market it's in.
I can see that. And very early on in their marketing and development or whatever, they pretty much made it like this is something to complete the PlayStation ecosystem along with your PS3, your PS4, and your PS TV, which PS TV. Yeah.
I kind of, again, the people who like this and are going to go for it kind of know about it and they're going to find it. And I feel like as everyone is debating whether or not the Vita is going to be viable, those people are just going to be like enjoying their Vitas.
Yeah.
No. Oh yeah. Like I
dig it. I'm super happy I got my Vita. Like.
Which is, and again, I think it's got this weird kind of dual personality where it just. There's a weird way to say it, but it seems like so much more of a flop than I think it actually is.
Yeah.
Which it's like a perception is reality, so maybe that is the case. But
but to tie it back to the story as I put a bow on this and we get ready to talk about David's.
Sure.
Just like I don't know, the role that this machine would fill for me has already been filled by the Vita, right? And I understand being in the Steam ecosystem is super cool because you can get games for 90% off or whatever. Like I'm down, like it's cool, but I just this looks underpowered and kind of bad to me. But I don't know. Could be cool, and I could be entirely wrong. I'm prejudiced against unproven hardware manufacturers making claims about putting the power of the sun in the palm of your hand.
Yeah, it looks like a Mad Catz type of Mad Catz for Steam, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not in the fighting game sense where Mad Catz I understand is pretty good.
But... Yeah, or the Rock Band sense where Mad Catz is great.
Yeah.
David, you got a story for us.
Yeah, so apparently Destiny with their new expansion, the Taken King, is going to be replacing Peter Dinklage as the voice of the Ghost, and perhaps inevitably they replace him with Nolan North.
Yeah, he just the lines were already recorded. It was super weird.
Yeah, so the I don't know, like that's kind of interesting to me. I was really wondering what they were going to do with that. The thing that strikes me as kind of surprising maybe is that they're getting rid of all the previous dialogue he did and having North redo it.
Okay, that was my question. That's like a massive amount of work, isn't it?
I can see North
really.
rattling that out in like maybe half a week.
Yeah,
I mean, especially if he's making as phoned in as Dinklage was. Oh,
making it what? I'm sorry.
I said especially if he's making it as phoned in as Dinklage was. Oh,
I've heard complaints about Peter Dinklage's performance in the alpha, like the whole Wizard Moon thing or whatever, but I haven't heard about his performance in the actual main game.
Yeah, it's well.
Did it get better? I don't want to throw shade at an actor who I like. So
yeah, I don't know. Like, it's hard for me. It didn't affect me nearly as much as it did other people mainly because the character he's supposed to play is a robot, which just, is not exactly goes with emoting. I don't know. Honestly, it's something I'd like to hear more about. It just in terms of, it seems to me it's a combination of like really boring bad writing and kind of not always being able to tell or be able to decide whether Ghost was going to be like a fairly generic robot or like comic relief. So, and just in general, the voice acting seems kind of bored. So yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel actually a little bad, especially because from like what I've seen of him, he seems like a pretty cool guy. Like, like as a person. But I feel like that would be kind of I don't know, that would kind of suck to just be like.
So I read an article about this, and I'm gonna tag team and bring in for this. I don't think it was bad blood about his performance or anything. I think that it was just the fact that his stock is rising in Hollywood, and he's just very hard to get a hold of with the regularity that they need to.
I agree that's definitely what the PR department told them to say.
But like they could have improved the performance as they go along, as he found the role or whatever. But like I totally think like Nolan North, like I said, the dialogue was already recorded. It was super weird, but it's like, if they're going forward, like, he's approaching like being a really big celebrity who is just really hard to get a hold of. And so like if they're trying to like churn stuff around, they can't be limited by that. So sure. I don't think this is a diss on him, Yeah,
I hope not. And I do, if that is the reasoning in some ways, I feel like that could actually bode well, simply because I think the dialogue honestly would have been better if there had just been more of it. Yeah. Which I know that sounds like, like obviously like, you would tend to say like, more crap is still crap, but I do feel like a legitimate problem with it was just there wasn't much backstory dialogue, stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm actually hoping they bring back the wizard from the moon line.
Yeah. Did they can that?
Yeah, they took it out after the I don't know. I feel like that was the wrong move. I feel like they should have been, damn right we've got wizards on the moon. We've got fucking dragons on Venus.
This is the thing that a lot of people forget. You steer into the skid.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. Like that it's kind of almost, the problem is a lack of self-awareness on, hey, you're not being made fun of. Like people are laughing with you, not at you.
Also, they do in fact have dragons on Venus, so I mean, it's kind of like you're not winning this one.
Oh well.
So yeah, I don't know. It seems cool. I'm interested to see. I know I'm excited for the expansion even before this. Mainly because I'm excited to see how they build a story around the aftermath of me defeating a boss that they wouldn't let me fight.
Pretty cool. I'm surprised I haven't seen a lot of people like crying bait and switch about this. I was promised 10 years of Dinklage.
Oh.
Just the general entitlement thing. We've got to draw this section to a close, guys.
Bye-bye, section.
Bye-bye.
Multiplayer.
Now it is time for the multiplayer section of our program, where we ask you, the listeners, a question and you answer. Again, in great volume. Wow, you're turning out. Let's see here, Dennis. What is the question that we ask the nice people?
This question was actually suggested by Jala, so she is with us in spirit, even if she is not with us in person. And she said we should ask, have you ever eaten game-related foods or been inspired to eat something new based on a game?
I will pick us up with Jala's actual response, which is, when I was little, I had a Tiny Toons handheld LCD game where Buster carries an ice cream cone through a level, balancing the scoops and dodging obstacles. I had an intense craving for ice cream whenever I played. Also, I considered making sea salt popsicles for a Kingdom Hearts loving friend, as that's a thing they eat in the game. There are recipes on the net, of course. And she links to a sea salt ice cream recipe there. I feel like that's something people are more opened up to recently because of the salted caramel nonsense that happens.
Yeah, that
every year.
sounds delicious.
Or like, isn't like vinegar and sea salt a thing? Sea salt and vinegar.
Oh, vinegar and sea salt's I don't know about like mixed with the sweet, but like that basically describes the perfect potato chip.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
salty and sweet is basically the best thing ever. Also, you know what else is a Cincinnati food stuff that is both salty and sweet?
Grippos?
Yes, grippers.
Also spicy too. Those are very hot barbecue potato chips. Potato chips that I assure you are more flavor powder than potato.
I really want. I meant this to be a joke about us doing a segue, but it's actually about to be. I think. I really want. Supposedly, you can go to the factory, and there's like this back door where you go in and like push your money through a slot, and they'll give you the like extra strength factory defect grippos that are just like doused in barbecue flavoring.
This sounds like some kind of weird blowjob arrangement, David.
Yes, but with barbecue potato chips. Which
that sounds painful.
Yeah. I mean, some people, never get you there.
Different strokes. Let's hear, David, what Smurf say.
Smurf says, I have had one of these, and they are bad. And I am one who likes energy drinks. And they links to the Mana Potions energy drink.
Yes, which I think most people would buy to have a bottle of brightly colored fluid from Diablo. Yeah.
Well, it's one of those things that's cooler in concept than execution.
Yeah, I think it's a Think Geek staple, which I've gotten in trouble for that. Also for not liking anime, so womp.
Well.
I feel like this is very much like there's a time and a place for that, and that's after like 12 hours of LAN party.
Yep, I could see that. Yeah. I'm not gonna look down on energy drinks either, but like, this has been around for a while, so good for them, and good for people who like it. Let's see here, Dennis. What's Tanner say?
Tanner says Tanner says Metal Gear Solid 4 taught me proper egg cooking technique.
I don't.
I'm going to need that one explained to me.
I got no fucking idea, guys. I'm so sorry.
Google will know.
That's huh. I forget. I've played that game. I think it's it's a character. It's Sunny, the daughter of Olga, who is in the carrier with Otacon, and I think that she gives between each chapter different tips about cooking eggs, and each chapter opens with a shot of her cooking eggs. Which, if you're not cooking eggs the Gordon Ramsay way, then I don't know what to do for you, son.
Interesting.
You got to keep them moving, man. Keep them moving. Let's see here. David says, my old tabletop group did a Final Fantasy VII themed potluck once. Of the things I remember, Sector 7 plate of nachos, grilled turkey chocobo legs, and, spoiler, got stabbed kebabs. And a variation on an AMF called the live stream. I don't know what an AMF is.
Oh, an AMF is an adios motherfucker.
What's an adios motherfucker?
It is, to my knowledge beforehand, it was a drink that was kind of specific to IU, Indiana University. Yeah. And it's like, it's got like 8 different things, and I can't remember. It's bright blue.
Okay.
And I've had them on several occasions.
Huh.
Yeah. Go figure.
It sounds like a mind eraser a little bit, but like fruity. It looks like a Garth Algar drink from Wayne's World. It's got vodka, gin, light rum, tequila, blue curacao, 2 ounces of sour mix. Ooh, man, that's a lot of sour mix, guys. And some 7-Up. Yeah, that sounds like a very I'm not saying this denigratingly, but a very fruity tasting mind chaser, or mind eraser.
Yeah,
I kind of like Mind Chaser.
Or it might be in the same vein.
Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, Mind Eraser is it's a vodka shooter. Huh. Yeah, so I guess that would make sense for the live stream, because it does make you forget who you are and poisons you and cripples you for life. So cool. Let's see here. David, what's Ryan say?
Ryan says, Fallout 3 and the Bioshock games have ensured that I'll never be able to look at toilet water or trash Twinkies the same way. And there's nothing quite like cruising the seas in Assassin's Creed 4, with a bottle of rum by your side. Drink up, me hearties, yo ho ho.
Yes.
I know New Vegas made me. I think we documented this on the air. I had like a several week hunt trying to find sarsaparilla from that.
No, so, you gotta go to Party Source, man.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, no, I can. Yeah, it always bothered me in the Bioshock games how you would down an entire bottle of vodka and then just go about your business.
I don't think you drank the entire bottle. I think you just took whatever you could to your face and then tossed it to the side.
Oh,
yeah. Well, Dishonored, taught me not to like canned eels. So.
Yeah, because I loved them beforehand.
I know, right? Just innocence lost, right? Dennis, what does Brad say?
Brad says, when Final Fantasy XII was released in Japan, they made a Final Fantasy potion energy drink. A classmate bought a few bottles and let us try it. We all agreed it was revolting even by Japanese energy drink standards.
I wonder what makes a Japanese energy drink more revolting than an American energy drink.
I have to imagine it's the flavors.
Okay, cool. So not the texture. There's not sand in it.
You're right. That came out a lot stupider than it was in my mind. What I meant to say was the flavors that are common in Japan are like, I'm blanking on what they are right now, but just
wasabi.
You're gonna get in trouble for making generalizations about Japan, Dennis.
No, I'm just gonna stop. But yes, the different taste palettes for different areas in the world mean that stuff that it would be considered a normal flavor over in Japan would be exceedingly odd over here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or at least not what you expect from that kind of product.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw the bottles for those, and those looked really cool. I'd like to have that as an artifact that would become increasingly poisonous over time. Let's see here. Roop says, I got inspired to try all the drinks in Catherine, but I haven't tried anything special that Vincent drank, though I almost always drink a Cuba Libre while playing the game. Yeah, that is good. Like your main 4 drinks, I forget what they are, but there's a beer, like a whiskey and something, or a rum and Coke, which that whenever I drink a rum and Coke, which is not regularly, not as regularly as I used to, but I will have it. I always make sure that there's extra lime to make it a legit Cuba Libre.
Nice.
I need to play Catherine again. That is a game I haven't played in a long time. And
how long is it?
It's on the order of about 10 hours.
Okay, so it's not like a one sitting game, but
no, it is the Persona developer, but it's more along the lines of a visual novel that has a very fun block-based puzzle game interspersed between it. David, what does Gordon say?
Gordon says, I was actually inspired by the recipes in Kingdom of Loathing to try out some new food and drink. Whiskey sours turned out to be a waste of whiskey, but spicy bean burritos have worked themselves into a pretty common meal for me.
Yeah.
Nice.
So no news on if he gained the ability to breathe fire. So
yeah, they've loaded KOL with lots of cool cocktails over the years.
Yeah. So I think that's actually mine is a significant amount of my navigation and getting into drinking has been KOL derived. Particularly like the biggest one I can think of is like the gimlet, which is one of my favorite drinks that I first heard mentioned in KOL. So unfortunately, I got out of work late today. Otherwise, I would have been reading this post while drinking a especially salty dog, which is the savior of all of my KOL runs.
Yeah. Also, if you like KOL and cocktails, listen to Advice Hot Dog because they give a cocktail at the beginning of every episode.
Hey, nice,
Oh,
nice.
nice.
Yeah, I keep hoping that they'll come out with like a KOL cookbook or something like that for some of the because the number of the cocktails are just made up or parodies and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. That'd be pretty good. Aquid did a cookbook, which was actually pretty good. I like their nacho recipe.
Nice.
Sure.
I don't know. I conflate those in my head because they are both things that I found at about the same time.
I think the other one, this doesn't quite count, but ever since watching Bunraku, I've gained had the urge to like try to eat wasabi.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, it's always a bad idea, but I just watched the movie and have the urge to try.
But it's
Wait,
not.
did that happen in that movie? I feel like I watched that movie with you.
Yes.
Was there a part where someone just eats wasabi?
Yeah. What of the early scenes? I forget his name. Gact is the I believe the actor, right? Jala will yell at me if I'm wrong. But the samurai fellow, yeah, in one of the early scenes.
Huh. Okay. Cool.
So let's see here. Dennis, what does Will say?
Will says, had to have some of that Super Mario Brothers cereal, baby. And there is actually like a cereal box that has Super Mario Bros. On one side, which is the fruity flavor, and Zelda on the other side, which is the berry flavor.
Yeah, so I think that there's still a way to buy this stuff on eBay, so you can be sure to get a box full of millipedes that will devour you. But I remember this. I remember this from being a kid. Also, Super Mario Brothers soda.
Oh, I never heard of that.
Yeah, which was sold in kind of these tiny cans. They had like fruit flavor. I really liked the Luigi because it was like a sour apple kind of flavor.
Oh.
Yeah, but we would always get those when I went to my grandparents' RV on a lake in Worcester, Ohio.
Good times.
Good times. Yeah, but I remember the Nintendo cereal system. Let's see here.
It's such a corny name.
I know, right? But it was a system because one half
the
of
NCS?
like literally one half of the box was cereal themed off of one game, and then the other half of the box was cereal themed off of another game. So it was a system.
So it was like those dual boxes of nerds, except marginally better for you.
Insofar it was grain instead of sugar, but it's all it's all the same. Don't worry. Just eat it. Steven says, I don't know if I've ever tried anything new, but as a kid, anytime I played Turtles in Time with my brothers, it put me in the mood for pizza. I want to try the Blood of Yarnum, vodka, lychee, and cranberry juice with lemon. I don't know what lychee is.
Leche? Isn't that milk? Because Tres Leche cake is...
leche is Spanish for milk, but I'm not sure this is spelled with a Y. Sorry. This was a cocktail that was posted on the
Lychee is apparently a type of fruit that looks like it came from a Mario game.
It looks like the outside is an especially spiky strawberry, but inside it has the appearance of an apple, like the white flesh of an apple.
Well, huh. That's a badass looking fruit.
I know, right? That sounds delicious. I wonder if that's a liqueur you can drink, but I mean, it's just vodka and fruit juice, so you could probably substitute it, and like that'd be fine. No big deal. I'm going to pick up with Jacob, who writes in saying, I tried a non-alcoholic version of Kole's Estes flask drink, and it was moderately good. I ordered a bottle of it off of Amazon, and I still keep the bottle as a sort of cool drinking glass. Always feel my HP refill by 500 whenever I take a sip. I wasn't sure, so on the most recent Abject Suffering 100, I did 2 versions of the Estes Flask cocktail. I don't know if you can buy it or anything. I'd like to have like an actual Estes bottle, but I just used like some decanters I got from Meyer and the recipes there. That'll be mine actually. Is that both of those were good. One of them is a recipe that revolves around Sunny D and gin. And Pims that our friends over at Twin Humanities did. And there's one from a blog called Gourmet Gaming that revolves around vodka and apple juice with some elderberry liqueur in it. But let me see here. Yep. So that is that is something I've done, and those are good. But I don't like drinking fruit-based alcoholic drinks because they give me terrible stomach aches and wanging hangovers. So that was a one-time thing, and by one-time thing I mean I drank all of them with gusto until they ran out, and I don't intend to replenish any of the ingredients. Let's see, David. What does Phil say?
Phil says the Nintendo Cereal System (NCS) was part of my unbalanced breakfast for as long as it existed. Also, while not exactly inspired by a game, I've probably eaten more MREs than solid steak. But the question is, did you awkwardly shake them out of your defeated enemies?
Well, that would be like porno mags, wouldn't it? No, wait, yeah, you do shake out rations. I'm a dipshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never had an MRE. I've seen them at like military surplus stores, but I've never taken the plunge because I don't want to get like some kind of crazy government disease.
Actually, they're actually pretty good. It's it from what I've kind of eaten them to a certain degree. It's sort of, I feel like they've basically they recognize that their job is basically to make the food, taste all right. So it tastes all right in the same way that like fast food does, if that makes sense.
Okay. I mean, it's like really dense, high calorie food because you're meant to like eat them when you're on a march.
Right. Yeah. It's crazy high calories, and like it tastes good in the way that like they probably don't care how much salt they're giving you, type of way.
Because you're gonna sweat it out, like it's no problem. You're replacing your electrolytes.
Exactly.
Like this is engineered food to make people perform, and that's why I've been like kind of reticent about it too. Because like, I don't need like a 1,200 calorie meal if it's not at like a restaurant, and 600 of those calories are not from alcohol. So
yeah, sure.
So yeah. Dennis. Yeah, there we go. Looking at my list. Dennis, what does Michael say?
Michael says, I'm still addicted to painkillers after playing Dr. Mario as a kid. That's good.
Pretty good. I'll pick up with Trent. In my senior year of high school, I drank a lot of the WoW Mountain Dew Game Fuel flavors. Not sure what changed, but now I would like to give a shout out to American Soda for being awful and too sweet to drink. Trent, I don't know where you're from, but you are absolutely right. Soda is unpalatable. Yeah. David, what does David say?
David says, I don't think that I had one for this. Then I remembered that my lifelong obsession with garlic stemmed from playing Earthbound at around 10 years old. The first or maybe second time you talk to the old hermit above your house, because of course Earthbound. He mentions that he is strong because he eats garlic every day. I had no idea what garlic was at the time, but the next time I saw garlic chicken on a menu, I had to try it and loved it. I also soon after tried some coffee, but didn't like it as much, and didn't even get transported to another dimension. So like the garlic giving you strength thing is that's like a really old folk belief.
Yeah.
Like I want to say like in scripture, like when the Israelites leave Egypt, that's like one of the things they complain about is not having garlic anymore.
I could see that. If I lived a garlicless life, it would be very sad.
I would just be so weak,
I know, right? It's just so puny.
Yeah, it's like spinach, yeah.
Garlic spinach, guys. We've invented the next super drug.
I don't know. Like I will take some garlic powder. Like when I make my own like salad kind of stuff with oil and vinegar, I will put some garlic powder in there just to open it up, liven up the flavor.
Nice.
Yeah, I can never figure out, like, I'm pretty sure it seems like for garlic to taste like garlic, it has to be mixed with other things.
Yeah, like oil carries it. Like I'll add garlic to a chili and like that. You have to. I don't know. Maybe I'm just my taste buds are dead or something. But you have to put a lot in there to move the needle.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So you also want garlic to bloom a little bit when you mix it into a medium. So you gotta let it sit for a second and infuse.
Okay.
That was you, so this will be me. This 3-person rotation, it's way too fast. It gets back around to me too much.
Is this regulation? I don't think this is in line with what the union set for podcasting.
Kilo writes in saying, from the Drunken Moogle site, I found the Revolver Ocelot cocktail. 6 alternating shots of vodka and bourbon to represent the Russian-American heritage. Good for a themed night of drinks. Just remember to cut the shots.
Yeah.
Please do. Oh my God, please do. That's crazy. No, I would assume it would be like a Russian roulette kind of thing.
That could be fun.
Where one of them's one of them's water, but you put them on a lazy Susan, give them a little bit of a spin. When one person's very upset,
and you can't stop drinking until you find the water. No, it's you do with all 6 of them, and how many shots you take depends on how lucky you are.
Oh man, yeah. Somebody has to. There's a lot of randomization happening. And let's round it out with Christopher. David, what's Chris say?
Chris says, anything Nintendo as a kid. I remember the Nintendo cereal system.
That's number 3.
And some cookies. Everyone apparently remembers that except me. I missed that one. And some cookies with Mario characters on them. They all sucked shit, but I didn't care. I would give my soul to Nintendo as a kid. So I did the next best thing. Gave them my health.
Yeah. Sugary cereal, man. So I had a revelation. I was I have like one box of like healthy cereal that I give in healthy cereal. That's a relative term. It's still grain, it's still carbs, whatever. But sometimes you got to pour something in a bowl and eat it real quick. But I've got another box of cereal that's just for like, okay, this is a box going to take me like a while to eat, but this is like crazy cereal, right? This is a kid's, sugary, like it's got a cartoon character on the box. And I know I shouldn't buy it, I know I shouldn't have it, but it's nice to have a treat sometimes on a weekend.
What's your poison?
My poison is Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good choice. If you're going to go that route, that's probably one of the more quality ways you can spend that.
You can see the sugar on the pieces. Like, I don't feel good about it. So this was a couple weeks ago, and so I'm guiltily pouring myself a bowl of this incredibly sugary cereal, and then what pops out of the box but a prize?
Of course.
Just to remind me, this isn't for you. You shouldn't have this.
It's better than eating the prize.
I suppose. Well, it's in a box, and so as I picked it up, like, what the hell is this? Thinking something was terribly wrong. No, it was just a Minion toy. So I put it in my suitcase, and I took it home to my mom because she loves Minions, because she is a middle-aged woman. So, Dennis, I don't know if I got an answer from you.
No. So the 2 things that I could think of, neither of them was exactly like trying a new thing, but Muramasa Rebirth has like an extensive cooking system in it. And it's like how you get all of your health and energy refilled, but you like have to cook all your meals. You don't just get healing potions. You cook meals for yourself. Yep. And then every single meal has like a unique, image for it. And like you watch it get eaten, which is kind of cute, but it always made me think like, oh, I could go for some Japanese food. And then the other thing that kind of, stirred in me from David's story was that I did some kind of research, like I was in some consumer research when I was a kid about like these cheese bite things, and they had like different sports ball shapes, And the question at the end was like, were there any other shapes? And I was like, you should do a Nintendo controller. And then I remember seeing them in market, like, you know, a year later or whatever, with Nintendo controllers. So they must have heard that from every single kid.
Don't discredit yourself, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can't imagine they didn't, because it was the 90s, and you're asking kids what kind of shapes are appealing. So that was kind of a neat little thing. And then I don't know if you saw Mikhail had a post come in at the wire there.
Oh yeah, let's take a look here. I will hit that real quick. Oh my gosh, Facebook is a nightmare. Mikhail writes in saying, for some reason the BioShock games make me want to drink gin and tonics. Probably because of the word tonics. Yeah, gin and tonic is great.
It is amazing.
Yeah,
I can't get into them.
And protects you from malaria.
and quinine actually settles your stomach. So a gin and tonic is a good thing to drink before and after a particularly dicey meal.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll keep it in mind for those purposes.
This is something I figured out, not just because of the calorie thing, but if you use diet tonic water, it will actually it upsets my stomach less. Like the overall sugar load is less upsetting to me.
Okay,
But,
dumb question. Like, how do you do diet? Like, I thought tonic water was just like herbal water.
No. Like, so the tonic water you buy at a store, if it's just regular tonic water, has a whole bunch of like sugar, or more accurately, like, corn syrup or whatever in it. And I recognize by drinking diet, I'm drinking cancer-causing chemicals or whatever, but it's a cocktail I have like once every 2 months, so fuck it. But no, like actual tonic water you get, quinine is really bitter, and so they add a bunch of sugar in it to make it more palatable to people, and so I find it is better and less upsetting to my overall physicality to use diet instead of regular.
To be fair, on the diet thing, I feel like So someone who's concerned about the diet part of their cocktail giving them cancer doesn't understand how alcohol works.
Yeah. So it's like, whatever, man. And alcohol already has a whole bunch of calories in it, so you're just whatever. You're already fucking yourself, so why not go all the way? Oh. Yeah. So,
now I want gin and tonic. Now I want actually pretty much all of this, which would be horrible.
Oh man, I had another one that came in just under the wire from my own perception, which is every time I play Lone Survivor, which I load it up every once in a while because it's a really cool game.
You have the urge to pop pills?
No. It's when you are some of the items that you have to get, you have to feed yourself too. You can get crackers and you can get cheese, and both of them are fine to eat. But eating cheese and crackers together, it like multiplies the effect. And I remember, like, I was like, man, what would just punish right now? Some Wheat Thins and some Pepper Jack. And so, like, the next time I'm at a grocery store after I play Lone Survivor a little bit, I will get some Wheat Thins and some Pepper Jack. So, So thank you everybody for writing in. We actually got in under time there with all the responses that were in. If you would like to participate in these, go to facebook.com/thelevelpodcast and check out the questions as they go live on Tuesday afternoons. Thank you, Jala, for recommending the question, and thank you, Dennis, for posting it. Let us move on.
I'll say real quick before we do.
Okay.
Now that we've got the Slack channel, like, post ideas for questions in there.
Yes.
I would love you to do my work for me. So
like, this is a role that you like, this isn't something that Dennis has been commissioned with. Like, I never formally asked him. He just kind of went and did it. And
just kind of stepped in.
We just couldn't stop him.
Not even if we tried.
It'll take a restraining order before I stop doing multiplayers. This show will be done 15 years. I'll still be posting a question every week.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, I feel like that Slack thing is opening up a bunch of cool interactions. Like, even in the 48 hours it's been open or whatever. Lots of cool stuff there. So yeah, go ahead and do that. Just it is the level channel that you see there if you were in there.
The grind.
Now it is time for the grind, where we talk about the games that we have been playing over the course of the past week or so. Dennis, I'm going to volunteer you to go first.
Yeah, well, I mentioned it a little bit at the top. I tried to play Risk of Rain co-op, and that is a labyrinth of network deceitfulness that just is impossible to navigate. So we wound up defaulting to Monaco, which is way more friendly instead. But played with Graham, played with Jala, and had an all-around great time. That was set up through the Slack feed, so if this is probably like the 40th time we've mentioned it in the episode, but it's like freaking awesome.
Yeah.
We've got a whole channel for setting up co-op, and I love me some co-op, and so use that. But so yeah, Monaco remains fun. I don't think there's anything new to say about it. I maintain that it's a very different game playing with multiplayer than it is playing single player,
or even like 2-player when we played it.
Yeah.
So I think my favorite part of like the co-op we did previously is I feel like if I were a psychologist, I would write about this. I feel like you can learn a lot about a person by how they play Monaco, like
Sure.
what class they pick and like how they do it. So like how they go, like what are the stories?
I gravitated towards the lookout again because I feel like that's the most useful, and I'm giving the most information to other players. So there's your psychology side of it. Trying to think of ways that things went spectacularly wrong. I know there was one time where me and Jala had gotten to the exit in a very like elaborate, stealthy way, and then Graham just kind of ran through all the alarms to get to the exit with us. So that was fun.
So we know that Graham is very direct. He goes for the gold, right?
Yeah, that's right.
He doesn't take any alarm shit. No one's got time for that.
Or he sees that the way he rides other people's coattails because you can escape real quickly if you don't have to wait for everyone else. If you're the last one to the door, you can be as loud to the door as you want.
That's very deep. I feel like if I was a bank robber, that is what I would have as like the motivational poster in my hideout.
That's right.
I guess what we're saying is every listener out there should know that noted fan Graham is an opportunist.
Yeah. But he also played as the mole for part and went poking around in other parts in the building. So.
Yeah, doing a little bit of yeoman's work, but we know the score.
Yeah. It's like one of those personality tests where you can just project yourself into whatever answer you get.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, just cloak it. Everybody's everything. Everybody's whatever they want to be.
Yeah. Oh, have you seen the bullshit going on in the news about, are you an ambivert?
There was an awesome Clickle article. It was the headline was, "Are you the abomination unto man that is known as the ambivert?" God, people
wait, what is a ambivert?
Well, just like sometimes you want to like talk to a bunch of people, but sometimes you just kind of want to be alone, like a person does.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's what is it, like rainbow statements from cold reading?
Well, yeah, kind of. It puts the lie to the Myers-Briggs thing.
So yeah, I found that very, and just to see everyone like, oh my God, I'm totally an ambivert. I found a new way to define myself.
Yeah.
This put words to what I felt all along. And it's like, yeah, okay.
It's basically the new way of saying I'm spiritual but not religious. Like just fucking find an identity by the things you do, not by the things people. Ugh, sorry, I don't mean to judge. I don't mean to throw shade. If you have found comfort in being categorized by those quizzes you've taken online, good for you. I hope it helps you find direction.
We need a blanket like disclaimer at the start of the show that's like, we're not trying to defend anybody. Unfuck your asshole, and then we can just go on with our lives and not feel like we have to apologize every time we make a joke.
Yeah, well,
but sometimes I am trying to offend people.
Well, then we can play a special sound effect. Just let me know.
No, just we'll have like a very nice disclaimer from me, Kole, and Ben, and just in the background you hear not me.
Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck
David says.
If we did skits, that would definitely have to be a skit. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, but anyway, so ambiverts, personality types. Graham played the mole.
The mole, the gentleman. I think we kind of rotate. I started as the lock pick or locksmith and went to the lookout. I think everyone kind of rotated around. So it's good. It's good stuff. The only other thing I've really played this week is Hearthstone. I fell into a deep dark Hearthstone hole again. which I feel like will be a recurring theme on the show. I went back in just to check out Tavern Brawl. I played the new mode once, and then jumped straight back into the ladder, and kind of have been playing it ever since. So I'm back to that for anyone who listens and has played with me or helped me play in the past.
Man, you hopped on that Tavern Brawl?
Yeah, it was the one that I played. It's every minion that you put out, instead of dying when you quote unquote kill it, it spawns a second minion that is two cost below the original one that you put out. And so you kind of had to build a deck thinking around like, okay, it's probably not super valuable. I probably want to go more minion heavy because I'm by default going to get extra value out of those minions. And I probably don't, I want to go towards, bigger minions because that will spawn better minions, versus going super heavy on small minions, which are just going to, not spawn anything worthwhile. So it was an interesting little twist. But like I said, I played it once with the deck that I built for it. I won my game, so I was like, oh, that's interesting, and then just went back to regular Hearthstone.
So is Tavern Brawl, is that basically kind of like their name for like House Rules games?
Yeah, it's not every week. I think it's more than every week. But they kind of rotate out new rules every couple of days.
That's pretty cool.
It seems like Hearthstone is a very successful experiment in figuring out ways to motivate people to play your game very frequently that are not just the super scummy energy system kind of ways.
Yeah, they do a great job of that. I worry about how complex it's getting. I think tonight, actually, Tuesday night, as we're recording this, or maybe it's later in the week, but they're updating it with another expansion. So there's a whole bunch of new cards that are coming, and it's starting to get a little complex. Whereas if you don't have a base in it, I could see it being hard to get into. But overall, it's pretty accessible, and they do have a lot of different ways to keep you entertained.
Yeah.
See, I wonder if they'll start doing what like Magic the Gathering does. I think most competitive card games do this, but I'm not sure. Where like you can only use like the last several expansions worth of cards.
Oh, in like decks for a tournament?
Yeah.
I could see that being way, or like I would love to see just a checkbox option list saying like, hey, I'm gonna play only decks, set limits of what cards you can use in building your decks. That would require a lot of nuance to like having tons of different decks built for yourself, and I'm not sure they want to do that. So we'll see what happens as this second expansion comes out, because then they'll kind of have 2 solo mission expansions and 2 just giant card pack expansions. The first one I think people have acclimated to pretty well, and I don't know if the second one will just be kind of, oh, I'm scared of change, and then it'll feel fine once we get used to it, or if that'll kind of start making things overly complicated. But yeah, we'll see. So yeah, that's me.
Do you have a way to play with network people?
So people can add me through the Blizzard service or whatever, whatever Blizzard's ID is. If it's just Blizzard ID, then whatever. I know you have to have like a number.
BattleNet or something like that.
Yeah, the BattleNet thingamabobber type deal. I'm waiting for that to pull up on my phone, but I would love to play with people. Or the other thing I've done is stream my game and do kind of a cards by committee thing where I'll take input, and it shows me just how incompetent I am.
Just how wrong your instincts are.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Cards by committee. It's a much more boring version of Cards Against Humanity.
Well, most committees are against humanity, so...
Yeah, so my name is Green Laser, and then the number that goes after that name is 1680.
And Green Laser is your Twitch name, is that correct?
Green Laser 73 is my Twitch name, but those numbers are not.
Because you were born in 1973, and you are, oh man, oh boy, math. No. Yeah.
42
years old.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
73 was my number in football. So, But yeah, the battle.net is just Green Laser, and then with hashtag 1680 at the end of it.
My number in every sport I ever played was 13, and that's why I never stuck with it. I'm not shitting you.
So, what I never understood about like numbers and like football and stuff is there's only like 30 players on the team or something. So how does anyone have a number above 30?
I think just whatever uniforms are in the best repair.
Okay.
Yeah.
So dish it out that way.
Dennis, do you have anything else you played?
No, those are the two big ones.
Oh, cool. David, how about you?
Sure. So I haven't done a whole lot more Leviathan. It's kind of weird. I'm horrible at small talk in real life, and I find that then unfortunately transfers over to visual novel games in that like I kind of have trouble following the dialogue. So I'm still kind of bumbling around with that, but not haven't really accomplished anything.
Did you have trouble with The Walking Dead? I forget if you played that.
I gave up. I didn't like the timers because I couldn't read the options before the timers expired.
Oh wow.
So
to the extent that you just couldn't to the extent that you couldn't get the right information versus to the extent that you felt like pressured to make a decision.
Yeah, it wasn't so much like pressured to make a decision in terms of like some games will try to do like games that maybe have like negotiation elements will try to like force you to make a decision now instead of like spending all day thinking. It wasn't that element. It was more for me, basically, I had to read all the, I knew what I wanted to say, but I had to read all of the options and then decide which of those was closest to what I actually wanted to say. And then there wasn't enough time to, like, do that thinking. So, but no, I know, I feel like I don't struggle as much with it in games like for example, I really love the dialogue in Deus Ex, where it's kind of dialogue towards a specific purpose. But when it's just like dialogue with like an NPC and like the goal is just kind of be a nice person. I know, like I have trouble kind of parsing like the difference between the different options, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that this really isn't a criticism of the game so much as just a criticism of my inability to communicate with other human beings. As you do.
Well, I mean, when it's the basis of a game you're trying to engage with, that can be problematic.
Yeah. So we'll see. I think it's something I'll probably get into kind of the swing of things, and that won't be an issue. So
nice.
But yeah, I've spent most of my time actually playing Dying Light. Yeah, so I don't know. That's been pretty good overall.
Can you shake your Dead Island hate?
Yeah, I mean, overall I can. Like, I would say like there are a couple of unfortunate things they keep on. Probably the two biggest are combat with human beings, just like in Dead Island, is just horrible.
Yeah.
Just really incredibly difficult and in ways that aren't fun.
Yeah.
And also, like Dead Island, I'd say the game has a lot of trouble with like a lot of the abilities you eventually unlock are necessary to play the game with any degree of intelligence.
Intelligence meaning like just the ability to navigate a situation?
Right, exactly. Like the biggest one with this is just I don't know. I mean, I played I played a lot this week. I don't know how many hours I did, but like many hours in, and I would say I'm just to the point where like combat works.
Mm-hmm.
Because really, until you unlock like some of these special attacks, you just aren't powerful enough to kill anything in a reasonable amount of time. So your weapons break extremely, extremely quickly. Like pretty much one battle will break a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And if you use your kick attack instead, enemies can take maybe like 30 plus kicks.
Oh, wow. So to some extent, are you never meant to like clear an area? You're just meant to get through it?
See, they definitely think they designed their system that way. Definitely, like, that's, most reviews I've read say, like, oh yeah, this was, of course put in because you're supposed to be using the parkour mechanic. And that definitely is how it plays. But on the other hand, then there's, like, other parts of the game where, like, for example, to unlock any extra safe houses, you have to kill all the zombies that are already in the safe house.
Oh man, so they're forcing you into encounters in enclosed spaces when their entire game is kind of dedicated to avoiding those things?
A little bit, although to be fair, like when I say in safe houses, like most of their, like the safe houses are built around parkour, so they tend to be like a safe house will be like, here's the like top of a apartment building that no zombie can get to, but all the survivors can because they all inexplicably know parkour.
Okay.
Or like, here's like a fenced-in area.
Yeah.
So it's
there have to be better ways than like elaborate parkour to get that stuff out of a zombie's reach. Like they're just like they can't be.
I can't help but think, like, if this was made in the early 90s, it would just be American Gladiators to try and get that stuff away. Like, oh no, gigantic Q-Tip Joust.
I would play that game. Actually, to be fair, I actually think they do a pretty good job because I'm trying to think, like, kind of the most generic setup would be like an area that's fenced off, and that's probably what most of them are. There's like one or two that are in a building. There's like a couple that are just on the roofs of buildings. There's one that is built, and this is kind of funny because it's now apparently the powers of B have decided that all open world games must involve climbing radio towers.
The powers that be being Ubisoft.
Or it's this year's bow and arrow.
Right, but this isn't even an Ubisoft game. Like, I have no idea. Like, one of the missions is straight up like, climb the puzzle tower to turn on the radios. But then, shortly after that, one of the safe zones is like halfway up a radio tower, which is kind of cool.
Huh.
So yeah, and they're well done. It's very explicably like in this setting. Kind of one of the elements is the zombies are weak to ultraviolet radiation. And so they become aggressive at night, and there's certain zombies that basically the whole stick is they basically can use parkour too, and they only come out at night, but they'll hunt you down and like chase you.
Yeah,
wasn't there like a multiplayer mode based around like one player being that zombie?
Yeah, exactly. I've not done it because I've no desire for that personally. but yeah, that's one of the multiplayer modes, which I guess is kind of cool. But so one of the things with that is like some of the safe zones are sort of built around that. So like the one on the roof, like the parkour zombies can get to the roof, but then like the actual bed is like under basically like a grow lamp.
Huh.
So
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah. So I would say I think that's something that's like pretty fair about this game is it seems like there's a good amount of thought to it. that went into kind of constructing things. There's a fair amount of varieties to the levels.
What's I don't mean to interrupt. What's the ratio of critical path to side quests? Because I know that Dead Island kind of had a lot of, you were moving from safe zone to safe zone, and there was like the main quest you could pursue, but also like go and rescue this bikini babe from a pool.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the one of the big problems with that with Dead Island was that the enemies scaled. And you could reach a situation where basically you inevitably completing lots of side quests, you'll get somewhat burnt out on the game. But because the enemies scaled, you weren't more powerful, so you couldn't then go through the actual storyline faster.
That just takes away any satisfaction of getting stronger.
Right. Well, and also just from a story standpoint, like, I'm not even saying this to be like oh man, I wish this game I like was shorter. Yeah. But legitimately it is a pacing element that, if you do a lot of side quests, you should be able to beat the main quest faster, because otherwise you'll get bored. And that doesn't seem to be an issue here. So from what I've seen, there's there's side quests. It doesn't seem to go overboard the way Dead Island does. However, on the other hand, it seems like there's a lot of just like I spend a lot of time just like dicking around, exploring buildings and parkouring things.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it seems to work pretty well. The parkour system, especially once you get the first upgrade, works really well. Once you kind of get the hang of it, you can go very fast. I think one of my highlights so far has been just like running down a packed highway that's just full of zombies, and ending up getting chased by this horde and running out onto like this suspension bridge over the bay and just jumping over the side to get away from the zombies.
Nice.
Which doesn't actually make sense, because obviously people commit suicide by jumping off of bridges. You can't actually survive hitting water from an arbitrary height, but was still kind of cool. So
yeah, I mean, games are games.
Right, you're right. So the night mode is really cool in presentation in theory. The problem is, I had some trouble with it. I read like a basic guide that's just like, basic tips on night mode. And the problem is, once you realize how night mode works, you realize that none of the stuff is actually dangerous at all. It's just designed to look dangerous. So like the killer parkour zombies, it's a stealth system. They have cones of sight. But the problem is they very explicitly only can see in their cones of sight. Yeah. So it's it's a good idea. It adds to the game. It just doesn't doesn't work all that well. So other than that, I'd say the storyline, it's I don't know. It's kind of got the same thing that Far Cry 4 had, and a number of others, where it's not bad, it's just sort of generic and boring. It's very much and very it seems like very very explicitly doing the generic storyline of person joins team with intent to betray them, has change of heart, but it's too late, finds way to redeem himself. Like that is very obviously where they're going with the story.
Yeah.
So and it's not exactly believable, because the people you're working for are just obviously evil.
How do you mean?
Just basically, there's this zombie outbreak, and the city is quarantined off, and you're working for the global disaster relief, United Nations, FEMA. And one of their agents has gone rogue, and he's threatening to release some document that has a partial cure for the disease, but maybe it would be dangerous, or maybe people could reverse engineer the disease. I don't know. But regardless, the group, the government is sending you in to keep him from releasing their documents. And it's very blatant. It's very blatantly you're actually there to. And this is not spoilers. This has not been revealed. It's just very, very obvious. You're actually there to do a cover up.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's the entire story is based around that. A video conversation. It's very explicit that they don't care if you actually help anyone. So it's a little I don't know. I do at least that your character seems self-aware enough to be upset about those things.
It's interesting.
What?
Well, I'm mad that I'm covering up.
Well, I mean more for example, and I don't know, maybe this is basically I'm currently there's two factions, the generic scrappy good guys and the and basically Voss. And basically I'm currently being forced to work for him in order to get intelligence on him for my evil overlords. And your character's very explicitly and fairly comically unhappy about how I shake down random people.
Oh yeah.
So I know it's one of those things with Dead Island's pedigree. I'm just happy there is story.
Yeah.
So
it sounds more complicated than anything I saw on Dead Island, but granted, I've never played the entire game. So.
Yeah, it's dramatically dramatically more complicated. It's like I said, I feel like it's very similar to Far Cry 4 in that it's just too generic, and I know, I feel like there's becoming a genre that is kind of the broadly defined brown-haired white guy saves the day and is probably voiced by Nolan North genre.
I mean, that's video games.
Well, yeah, but that's still I don't know. In particular, I know it seems like basically everything that Ubisoft and all the open world games seem to be getting into very specific storytelling structures that are kind of old.
You played anything else?
No, that's pretty much it.
Cool. So I've got two kind of short ones just because I don't know how much new there is to say about them, even though I'm not sure I've talked about them on this particular show. So I'm going to begin by saying that I have dipped back into Virtue's Last Reward.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we recently did the episode of Watch Out for Fireballs on 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors, and we came out really mixed on it, and I realized that most of the positive things I felt about 999 were things that I liked about Virtue's Last Reward.
Okay.
Just because I had a memory of how awesome the story was in 999, even though the delivery of the story was not as great as it could be. And looking at that, I was like, okay, well, I have food poisoning on Friday, so I'm going to spend my time in bed, playing this as I'm, running back and forth between the necessary. And so I dipped back into it, and boy, oh boy, is that game just a delight.
Oh, good to hear.
So the things that we brought up about 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors kind of not being great, just the pacing and the fact that you can't skip dialogue, and the fact that you can't really speed things up, or if you want to see multiple endings, you can't really jump around between them. Like, all of those are fixed in Virtue's Last Reward, and I think that the ideas that they explore are a little bit cooler, and just the cast of characters is better. And there's just such a wider variety of things that can happen that I think it's a much more successful game in general. And I would really encourage people kind of, I don't know, maybe like listen to the episode of Watch Out for Fireballs and maybe read a little bit on a wiki about 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors, and then just play Virtue's Last Reward, because I think that is the proper entry point to not just be entirely turned off by this type of game.
Yeah, and as someone who jumped straight to Virtue's Last Reward with no background context, I know that there was nuance I didn't pick up on just from talking with Kole about it. But I also know that I enjoyed the experience just fine.
Yeah.
Now, was Virtue's Last Reward the one that had like the kind of storytelling tree that kind of bordered on breaking the fourth wall?
Yes.
Okay, and was that different than
smashed and demolished?
Yes.
Say that again. Oh, okay. Was that different than 999, or was that feature both?
That gets into spoiler territory.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is not a gameplay feature in 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors. It is a nicety that they offer in Virtue's Last Reward that really plays into your ability to experience the story in the best possible way.
Sure. Because that always sounded pretty cool.
Yeah. It's fantastic. And I mean, it sucks that there's only so many systems you can experience it on. Like, it is not as tied to the dual screen format as 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors is. Boy, that is a hard title to say.
999?
Yeah, 999. Like, you can get it for like $20, like, just online from like for Vita or for 3DS. And it's super good. I don't know. Like, I have a lot of affection for it. I don't know that I have anything like more critical to say about it. Like, if you don't like the super anime stuff about, like one guy kind of looks like a magician, and like another person just has a whole bunch of cleavage showing. like that stuff is a little bit gratuitous, and it's kind of out there. But they become characters in their own right, and that's kind of cool.
I'm kind of enjoying the image of the guy who's like, stick in life is kind of looks like a magician. Like, that's what people say to him when he walks down the street.
He's got like a top hat and he's wearing kind of a matador outfit. It's super weird, but I don't know, man. Like, it is one of those games that I just feel is something special, and it sidesteps most of the stuff that we complained about in the 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors episode.
Sure.
The other game that I've been playing that I kind of didn't talk about last week because of time issues, but also because there's not much to talk about with it, is N++.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
is that the ninja one?
Yes. So this is good. Go ahead, but
oh no, that's just a cool game.
I answered your question. It is a cool game because it's existed in some form or fashion for about 12 years now. And this is what the developers kind of hitched their wagon to, which is the idea that a very simple platformer with very natural and very, pleasant feeling physics to it and momentum will like have legs. And also, hey, we're going to make it super easy to make levels for this. So the original game came out on Flash, right? And then N+ was kind of the upgraded version of that, which came out, like, I played it on 360, but Dennis, I know you've played it, right?
I have. I think I only played the Flash version though.
Okay. The like N+ came out on like PSP and DS maybe too. Correct.
It's a PSP game. I know that for sure.
Yes. Forgive me if I'm wrong on that. But then N++, this is a PS4 exclusive, which is a super bummer because I want to play this on my Vita. Like, this seems like just custom made for the Vita. Like, can you imagine editing a level using the touchscreen?
Oh, that's gonna be cool.
Yeah. But so the single player of N++, it doesn't feel that different from what I played before. Like, they give you a bunch of levels that have clever names that kind of describe the trick to the level, right? And a bunch of these, what am I thinking of here? They introduce the different mechanics, and kind of the cool thing about this visually is that it's like super zoomed out. So if you're playing it on a big TV, your character is going to be very small on the screen, and you are kind of navigating this world that takes up the entirety of your screen. So that is something that I haven't seen before. I like being able to see a whole level and just kind of like navigate it and just really see the cumulative effect of your momentum as it kind of gathers, and the way they treat vertical momentum and your ability to jump off of walls or drag onto stuff to keep yourself from exploding into a bloody mess when you drop too far. It all feels very satisfying when you see it at that kind of scale. And I haven't found the ability to kind of like zoom in, but I don't really want to. Like I did with N+, just because it feels like the levels are designed in such a way. There are not very many solo levels that you can play, at least that I've seen. I haven't gotten through all of them, but it kind of seems like a night's worth of playing to do it. What's neat about it, about at least that side of it, is it's got kind of the Geometry Wars appeal of being able to compare your score, which is your time plus any coins that you gather, against people who are on your friends list. So I know that like I'm kind of neck and neck with Reagan, but not as good as Jeremy. Like that's pretty cool to see that as it goes along. But before I started recording tonight, I played a little bit of the some like top rated online multiplayer levels, like levels that other people have designed, and boy are those difficult.
Yeah, I was about to ask, are they top rated because they're like fun to play and have a unique twist, or are they top rated because they're just crazy insanely hard?
I have no idea. So the twist thing feels applicable because most of them that I found was like, oh, they're trying to get me to do this thing. I was not able to get my stupid dumb meat hands to execute on what my head knew I needed them to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure about that. Like when I look at something like this, like a 2D reflex-based platformer, I'm more daunted by like I have no idea how to parse this pattern than I am about like I don't know how to execute what I know I need to do. Right? Like the former just seems like purposeful obtuseness, whereas the latter just seems like they're asking you to get better.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And so, like, I'd rather have my hands catch up than my mind catch up, if that gets it across. Top rated, I don't know what goes into that. Like, there is a category for, like, most difficult, but I'm not sure how that's rated.
Yeah, most deaths without finishing, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. Like there's possibly something around them, and there are more categories than I had the ability to really look in on and see how it articulated. I was just like, okay, show me the best thing you have, community, because we are now officially 1 month away from Super Mario Maker launching, and I want to.
You've got me for 1 month.
Yes, you had me for 1 month. So exactly right.
Until someone figures out how to make N+ levels on Super Mario Maker.
Yeah, that's a difference of physics, right? And that gets back into it because like these are super simple visuals. The soundtrack is kickin' rad, but like this is a mechanic, and like like maybe there are a couple of different enemies that they might not be new. I might just not remember them from their initial go, but like. This is a game that has worked for them for 12 years, and it might just be because I just come back to them in 5-year increments or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know, like they've managed to make a simple 2D platformer that feels very, very good. And
yeah, I feel like there's,
right?
At some point there's something to be said for like people still play backgammon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it is a satisfying experience to play this in a way that like our little axiom on WAF, which has been disproven a couple of times, but like generally you want your platformer to feel like Mario. This doesn't feel like Mario, right? Like this is some kind of weird kind of cross between Mario, Prince of Persia, and Sonic. To a weird degree. It just like it feels sluggish and weighty in the right ways, but also fast and light and airy in the in the way that you have to manage that to like make the perfect line or manage your momentum to create the right arc. But go ahead.
I really like that. You mentioned it being like a Sonic game, and really that's what it is. It's the idea of managing your momentum is what they do so incredibly well, and they do it in a very different way than Sonic does. But I think it's equally as successful a way.
Yeah, I would say even more successful because like this is one gigantic level, that you are seeing all in one go. So like part of the appeal or the difficulty of Sonic when it came in was like you could only see so far in front of in front of Sonic or Knuckles or Tails or whoever as they were going, right? You were zoomed into a certain extent. You can fit the whole world on your screen here, and so you have a much better glimpse at the way that at the way that everything fits together.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
It kind of just thought popped in my head that Mirror's Edge is really just first person N++.
And like they do an amazing job of like risk versus reward too, because like as after they teach you kind of the first basic mechanics and principles of this game, they start throwing in like, okay, there are coins over here, but I don't know, it's pretty difficult to get to them. Will you get enough coins to offset the time that it took to get up there? Like, is it better to make the beeline for this than it is the beeline for the exit than it is to like go for these kind of extravagant flourishes? And that's the way that the kind of min-maxing for score, which normally doesn't appeal to me, but when you put up that Geometry Wars kind of scoreboard, it kind of does. And something that I feel like is new, but I can't speak to it because God knows it's been forever since I played the 360 version, is like all the levels, like they're packaged together in fives. So it's not like play a level, see your score, play a level, see your score. You're actually playing like 5 of them in a row before everything kind of pops up and shows you how well you did.
Yeah, it's kind of like you get your score after 18 holes of golf.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how well you did on any one individual hole, it's how well you performed over a couple of them.
Yeah. So it's super cool. I wish it was available to more people than just PS4 owners. Like Dennis, I think you'd really enjoy this.
Yeah, it's got to come out. It won't be too long, I don't think, before it does.
It feels like a super shitty timed exclusive kind of thing. Which, like, if you're making a deal with Sony, at the very least, make it like a cross ecosystem kind of buy. Like,
and what do they stand to gain from making it PS4 exclusive?
I don't know. Like, so it's probably. It's probably the fact that it's very hard to implement the online stuff across those multiple different platforms. Like, I'm not saying, well, just make it, it's easy, just press the button, make it like that. But like that has to be it, because performance-wise, I'm not seeing anything that's like really taxing the hardware. And maybe on maybe on a Vita, it's hard to like fit it in on a screen that size in a way that's legible, and they have to figure out the way they want to zoom. Or maybe on a PS3, they just don't see enough of an audience there with it. But like, if not all 3, then 2. Like, it makes sense for 2 with some like implementation concerns.
I would like to think that it is just a matter of, hey, we're a small team with a finite amount of resources. We're going to make a really good game on PS4, get that out, make ourselves some money, and then we'll kind of get it onto the other systems.
Yeah, and then like Steam will trickle by, and then we'll put it on like Wii U or whatever. Like you say that, like that makes sense to me. And like, I wish them all the success in the world. And I don't mean to like say, well, why didn't you just do this perfect the right time? Because they got it perfect 12 years ago. So yeah, I don't know. It's really good. I'd recommend it. That is my final thought. Any questions on N++?
I'm looking forward to it. I would be curious, actually, now that I think about it, to see you go back and play like the original version of the game.
It's still on my 360. I might actually do that if I remember
and just
to
see if there were like subtle ways that they made it feel different.
I'm sure there are. I'm sure that there are tiles. Like, I don't remember boost tiles being there, but they're factoring in a way.
Yeah, I mean down to like the character movement.
Maybe. I don't know that I'm sensitive enough to notice those.
Oh, fair.
Yeah. Like maybe I will, but like picking this up with my vague memory of the way things handle, it still felt satisfying, and it wasn't like, whoa, they really loosened up the friction or something like that.
Sure. Cool.
Yeah. So, do you all want to button it up?
Let's do that.
The credit.
This was episode number 116 of The Level. Hey, everybody, there's a giveaway we want to announce.
Yeah.
So Jala has a pretty close relationship with the developers of Leviathan, the last day of the decade, and we got some Steam keys, and we think it'd be really cool if a bunch of people got a chance to play this. So because we've talked about the Slack channel so much, we want to reward the people who are in there and participating. So if you want to get a hold of one of these 10 Steam keys for this game, go to the Slack channel if you are a Patreon backer in the hashtag the level kind of chat room there, and write the following phrase: "Livin' La Vida Leviathan." Okay, and I will DM you the code, and you can redeem it. If you are not a backer there, don't worry. If not all of them go away in a reasonable amount of time, we will open this up to everybody else. But what's that, David?
Yeah.
But we want to kind of celebrate this and get these out to people who are, kind of have some skin in the game, right? So back us at patreon.com/duckfeed.tv, join the Slack channel when that email goes out, and write that message in, and we will be happy to help you out. Well, that phrase, once again, is "Livin' La Vida Leviathan." Cool. So other than that, we still have the Facebook group, and we're not going to ignore that. That is still the primary way that you can interact with us on the multiplayer. That is facebook.com/the level podcast. And if you want to leave us a rating or review on iTunes, we super appreciate it. Am I forgetting anything, fellas?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think that's about it.
Yeah. So for the level, I have been at Kole Ross on Twitter.
And I have been at DFuria on Twitter. That is my legal name now. I changed it.
You know what? I realized I messed that up, and people are going to be very upset. I've been Kole Ross at Kole Ross on Twitter.
I have been Dennis Furia at DFuria on Twitter.
I've been David Moneysmith at MoneySmith777 on the Twitter.
Without Ben, we're just off our game.
Oh, man. We have no rudder, you guys. We are adrift in an ocean. We are adrift in an ocean, and we have no title. So stick around. So I've got two. Indie Bone. Gigantic Q-Tip Joust.
Mine was gonna be, I don't quite have it right, but how was it you described Risk of Rain, like Labyrinth of Network Deception or whatever?
Oh yeah, Labyrinth of Network, I don't know, Deception might have been what I said. Okay. I like Giant Q-Tip Joust. Just because, sorry, I almost said Sugar Bone, because Indie Bone comes a little too close on the heels.
I feel like
that's my thing too. That was like the one like unique turn of phrase that we had in there, the Giant Q-Tip Joust.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if anything else popped to me.
Yeah,
but I think that covers it.